Welcome back. It's time to put more stuff in the ether. I just want to say women will not date themselves unless they look themselves in the mirror, right? They will not, what I mean by that, right? They will not know how it's like for a man to date a woman unless they date themselves, right? What do I mean by that? Let me elaborate even more, all right? Women think that they're infallible, that they're perfect, right? And they can ask themselves that they think that they're 10. All of them, you ask all of them, they think they're a 10, right? All of them can say most likely you're a 10 or beyond a 10, right? They think highly of themselves. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. To have confidence in yourself, but you just come to a point where you have the realizations when you have to come back to earth, grounded to earth, and realize that nobody's perfect. Not even yourself is perfect. Right? You need to look yourself in the mirror, right? Why guys are not falling for it anymore? Why are guys not dating you as much as you did, right? There are women out there making videos questioning like why guys aren't dating, why are guys not asking them out? There's a reason why is that, right? They need to look themselves in the mirror to show them how are they actually like. They need to date themselves, right? Date themselves. Record them, how are they behaving, and rewatch themselves, reflect on themselves, and learn from themselves. Like, after they learn themselves, after they see themselves, ask themselves, would you date a person like yourself? Right? I bet you most of these women will not date a person like themselves. Right? Because if they could see the true self, they could see how highly unrealistic they are. Right? That's why we have all these women out there who so disillusional, right? And wonder why guys aren't dating no more. Because you need to see yourself in reality. You stop living a fantasy. Right? In order for them to know why aren't dating them, they have to date themselves. Look themselves in the mirror. Right? Like Michael Jackson said, change starts with you. Right? In order for you, right? Sometimes it's you. You are the problem. Right? Sometimes you are the problem. Right? If you see all these women not having a successful relationship, right? You begin to question, well, maybe it's not the guy, maybe it's the person, right? Look at, for example, Taylor Swift, right? Taylor Swift, a beautiful woman, right? A beautiful woman, a very talented woman, right? You know, she make money. Why can't she lock in a steady relationship, right? And she went to all these relationships, right? With all these men. And these men are a prominent figure, right? These are strong men. These are, men that made their money, successful men, right? And you ask yourself, why aren't these men committed to her? And she should answer herself that question too, right? Maybe it's not those men are the problem. Maybe it's Taylor Swift. Right? Why do you think J-Lo cannot stick with one man? Why can't she stay committed to one man? Right? Maybe it's her. Maybe she's the problem, right? And women don't understand that. They think that they're never the problem. They think that they cannot do no wrong, right? At some point, you have to come to a realization that maybe you are the problem. You are your own enemy. You are your worst enemy, all right? People don't like you for reasons because how you are. All right, maybe, and you need to reflect on that and see that in yourself. See your true self. And you have to understand your true self in order for you to correct it. You have to admit your flaws in order for you to fix it, like everything else in life, right? You have to admit that there's a problem. You have to admit that the economy is not correct. The economy is not right. The economy is broken in order for you to fix something, right? Because if you live in this world of, if you're blinded to the fact of anything, you can say, oh, everything's okay, when it comes to reality, that not everything's okay, right? So in order to fix something, you have to address the problem. You can't address the problem, you can't fix anything if you don't address the problem, right? Then you're just delusional. For instance, if you can't walk, right? If you can't walk, right, and something's wrong with your feet, right? You just can't ignore it. You got to go to the doctor to analyze your feet so they could diagnose what's wrong with your feet. If you don't do that, you're going to walk with a limp all the time, and you're going to exacerbate the problem. That's what it is. You're going to exacerbate the problem. For women to solve their relationship problem, they need to to figure out the root causes of their problem. They need to figure out the root causes and attack those root causes. Fix that root causes. Maybe there's a chance they will fix the relationship, right? And most of them aren't seeing that. They realize this. Some of them realize this, right? What a solution to put it on TikTok instead of trying to fix themselves, right? Like, some of these, they even know it, and they're not even trying to fix themselves. You know? And they're making videos, try to garner sympathy on TikToks, right? From guys, from people, for validation. So, like, why are you sitting, if you know something's wrong with you, why do you have the time to record yourself crying and then post it on social media? Because if it's not your intention to do that, right? It has to be intentional, because you have to push the post button on your phone, right? When you push the post button on your phone, that shows you have intention to put it out there, right? If you understand your flaws, fix it. And that's what they're not doing. All right, ladies, you have to fix your flaws. You have to address your flaws. Admit that you have flaws. Like I said, I'm not perfect. I have my flaws. Guys have their flaws. Many other people have their flaws, right? But they have to understand the flaws in order for them to fix it, right? Like a math problem. Why do they call it a problem? Because there's no answer for this problem. In order to solve the answer for this problem, in order for you to answer the problem, you got to address the problem. You got to solve it out. All right, the math problem, the math equation. But that's what people are going through right now, especially women. They need to address their problems. All right, look yourself in the mirror. If you ask the question like, why guys aren't approaching you no more, right? They're not approaching you because sometimes if you're like a highly beautiful woman, men automatically in their head think, oh man, she's out of my league. She's gonna say no. I'm not even gonna ask her out, right? What's solution for that? Maybe try dress more modestly. All right, don't put on too much makeup. Be natural. Don't be high maintenance. All right. Most guys out there, they could tell a high maintenance girl out there when they see one. When they understand that she is high maintenance, they will not approach you. Right? You gotta be modest. I'm not talking about be like dirty or anything like that. You gotta be dressed modestly, realistic. So you have more guys approaching you. Right? All these hot girls out there. These hot girls out there, they hardly get approached because they're too hot. Most guys won't dare to ask extremely hot girls out, because most guys will understand who are in their lead, who isn't in their lead. Right? Guys have that perspective. Guys have that understanding. Right? Like a high value male, an alpha male. He knows he's an alpha. He don't need to say it. So if he knows he's an alpha, he'll go for the higher lead women, because he knows who's in his lead. Right? Like a rich guy. A rich guy, he know he could afford that woman because he had the money for it. It boosts up his confidence, make him more a high standard man. So he'll most likely ask the extremely hot girls out because he could fulfill her needs, right? But most guys aren't like that. Most guys are average guys, right? And most girls are average girls. They should not think of themselves as 10. Not all girls are all 10. Right? Women need to realize that not all you guys are all 10s. You gotta be realistic with your scoring standards. Right? Sometimes you ladies are sometimes 4s, 3 or 4s, sometimes 5. Right? Like Kevin Samuel said, average at best. You gotta realize that. You gotta realize you're average. I'm an average guy. Hey, I might even be classify myself as below average. But you know what? I try to work hard on myself, try to better myself in the future. Guys always have the mentality of try to better themselves off. Women don't have that kind of luxury because they always, in their mindset, they always think that they don't need to better themselves off. Right? Sometimes, ladies, you have to better yourself off too. You gotta be modest, you gotta humble yourself. Right? Or else God will humble you. So you have to be realistic. You have to have realistic expectation. If you don't have realistic expectation, you will always be unsatisfied, right? To be satisfied in life, you have to have realistic expectation, realistic needs, realistic wants. Right? You can't be classified yourself as the one girl that get those 1% guys out there. Those guys who make millions of dollars, those Jeff Bezos, those celebrity men, they are a fraction of men out there. They are a small fraction, a fringe minority out there. Right? What are the chances? What are your probability? You have to understand probability as well. All right? Statistics. You gotta know statistiks. All right? If you don't hang around with movie stars, if you don't hang around with billionaires, what is the chance of you getting with a billionaire? Not likely. If you hang around with thugs, most likely you can kick it with a thug. If you kick it with nerds, most likely you can kick it with nerds. You don't expect a girl who kick it with nerds suddenly get a high value male, right? Or a ghetto girl suddenly get one of those 1% male out there. You don't expect that, right? Because those girls don't hang around all these places, right? But I digress on that. But the point is, you have to come to terms with self-reflection, understand who you are, admitting yourself, accepting yourself. Most women will not accept themselves as who they are, as what they are. That's why they have the constant need of fixing themselves all the time, putting makeup, right, concealers, and all this stuff, because they have this insecurity issue that they don't want to accept themselves for who they are. Right? You need to accept yourself, look yourself in the mirror. Maybe that will answer the question why guys are not approaching you at all. Right? On that note, guys, if I missed something, leave a comment below. As always, like, share, subscribe, and I'll be back with another episode. Peace and blessings.